Hello everyone, TP here, and today I will be ranking Season 2 of Thomas the Tank Engine. Season 2 is an overall improvement to Season 1, and so maybe expect more 10 out of 10s in this video than the last one. As I stated in that video, this is a series inspired by my friend's series, and links to his videos are in the description of the Season 1 video. So, without any further ado, let's get into the ranking list of Season 2. Better late than never. All I can just say about it is very clunky message and an uninteresting storyline. That's all I can say. 4 out of 10. Honestly, this is the only 4 out of 10 on this list. Daisy. This is an uninteresting episode because, well, Daisy is an uninteresting character. Nothing happens in the episode other than Daisy arrives to Sodor to cover for Thomas, and she refuses to take a milk tanker. That's it. Was that Thomas's original job? I don't know. 5 out of 10. Percy's predicament. Good crash, but Percy just getting blamed is backwards, and why this and not Bullseye's? Why did they skip Bullseye's in the first place? I feel Daisy should have been sent away at the end of the episode, because we never see her mature as a character at all. Like, don't get me wrong, she has potential to be an interesting character, but she was uninteresting. She would have been uninteresting at first, and as a result, she is uninteresting. Like, I don't think that in the Railway series, but in the TV series, I really think that, because her episode, or her appearances are just not that great. 5 out of 10. Thomas, Percy, and the Coal. Boring premise of a karma war, but the music was alright at least. Other than that, I don't have much else to say about this episode. 5 out of 10. Thomas and Trevor. This episode has a good concept of Trevor's character, but the execution was very mid because, well, Thomas wears one face throughout the episode, and honestly, that just feels lazy to me. And honestly, that's all I have to say about this episode. I don't want to talk about it any further. 5 out of 10. The Runaway. The Runaway, I wish, honestly, had more action in it. But one thing I can give it credit for is the music. Harold's theme is the obvious favorite of mine. But other than that, the episode is still mid. 5 out of 10. Thomas comes to breakfast. This episode has a good crash, but it's a bit boring and honestly just an alright episode overall. 6 out of 10. The first 6 out of 10 I've covered. Woolly Bear. This episode has a good follow-up scene to Ghost Train, and the sight of Percy's woolly bear mess is pretty funny. But this episode is a bit boring and it doesn't have that much happening. 6 out of 10. Wrong Road. The reason I put this down here is because I don't remember it that much. I don't know. Maybe that's just me not being so nostalgic of it, or maybe just having not seen this episode overall. But there are things I do remember about it. Bill and Ben joking about murdering Gordon was hilarious, and the line, "Boko, my dear engine, save me!" That was hilarious too. 7 out of 10. Brake Van. The brake van has funny moments, but I wish the episode had a little more action and seriousness with the brake van being squashed to bits. But overall, this episode was still good. 7 out of 10. Duck takes charge. Duck is a good character, and his dynamic with Percy is very fitting to me. And honestly, the disturbance was kind of funny as well. But other than that, I don't have much else to say about it. 7 out of 10. Cows. This episode is a bit boring, but enjoyable as well. And this is still good overall. But the moo in both dubs, well, George Carlin sounds like a sheep when he's saying moo. Or because he's saying like bleh instead of moo. But Ringo Starr's moo is absolutely hilarious that it saves the episode from being a mid-episode overall. But again, as I stated, this is still good. 7 out of 10. Percy and the Signal. At first I just disliked this episode, but now looking at it, I actually enjoy it now. And the trick Gordon and James came up with was a bit clever. Although I don't understand what backing signals are. Like, are they real? I don't know. But still though, this is a good episode. 8 out of 10. Percy takes the plunge. Great setup to the crash, and the crash itself was good, but it has the weird retcon with this episode being filmed before Percy's Promise, which wasn't adapted until Season 3, but still enjoyable overall. 8 out of 10. Saved from scrap. This episode introduces the concept of scrapping, and it is great. Edward wanting to help Trevor was nice too, and it's honestly the most realistic episode of Season 2 in my opinion. While Season 1's most realistic episode was the sad story of Henry for how dark it was, Saved from Scrap is honestly the most realistic episode of Season 2 in my opinion, as stated earlier. 9 out of 10. Old Iron. This episode has a great runaway sequence, and Edward trying to save James was epic as hell. And this is just another great episode overall. 9 out of 10. Birdies Chase. Birdie setting chase after Edward is great, and the line, "This hill is too steep, this hill is too steep." That line was honestly one of my favorite lines of the season, in my opinion. And overall, this episode is just really fun to watch. 9 out of 10. I'm surprised how all the Edward episodes get the 9 out of 10. Well, at least the first 3 Edward episodes, anyway. The Diseasel. The scene with Bill and Ben tricking Boko was iconic. The music is iconic, and of course we all cannot forget the line, "Stop! You're making me giddy!" That line was extremely hilarious. 10 out of 10. Great episode. Thomas and the Missing Christmas Tree. This episode has a good crash and stellar music. And the ending is my favorite ending in the entire show. Fight me. 10 out of 10. Great episode once again. I almost said 8 for a second. The Deputation. Donald and Douglas getting saved by the end is just so relieving. And Percy has some funny moments too, and the long awkward silence was actually hilarious. And Gordon just breaking the silence was absolutely perfect. 10 out of 10. I love this episode. And it's also great to see the snow setting again. Pop goes the Diesel. The moaning and groaning from the trucks from both narrators is excellent and hilarious at the same time. Diesel is a great villain to the TV series, and this episode is just great overall, like the rest of the episodes in the top 5. 10 out of 10. Dirty work. Diesel's plan to get Duck sent away is very devious indeed. I guess that's why he's nicknamed Devious Diesel. Or maybe that's just his character, why he's named Devious Diesel. I don't know. And this is Diesel's second best episode of the TV show. The actual best Diesel episode we'll get to a couple videos later. And it is also very sad seeing Duck get sent away by the end of the episode. You really do feel sorry for Duck. 10 out of 10. Excellent episode. A Close Shave. Oh my god, it gets better and better. Like, the Duck and Diesel arc just gets better and better over time. Like, this episode has a great runaway and has the best crash of the season. Great music as always, and this is Duck's third best episode of the TV show. No question. I think most of us really like this episode a lot. 10 out of 10. Percy and Harold. The race between the two characters is great and one of my favorite moments of the entire season. Keyword one of the entire, well, not the keyword, but I repeat, one of the best moments from season 2. I think I said that, I don't know. And the dynamic between Percy and Harold is great, the music is awesome, and this episode is just overall fantastic. 10 out of 10. Edward's exploit. The story is simple but fantastic at the same time. And yeah, the seriousness isn't as good as the Railway series or Edward's saga, but this is still great. And I rooted for Edward even more than last time. He really is the goated character. 10 out of 10. Fantastic episode. and very nice for overcoming a serious situation. But this episode just couldn't beat number 1, Ghost Train. What can I say? This episode has the best visuals of the entire season. It has a phenomenal setting, and it has the best score I have ever heard in both the synthesizer version and in a Spooky Thomas episode ever. Like this is the best Spooky Thomas episode I have ever seen. It has great character dynamics, a great premise, and as I stated earlier, the best spooky episode in Thomas history, in my opinion. 10 out of 10. And that's my ranking of season 2. Sorry if it felt too quick. I just didn't have much to say on half of, if not most of the episodes. I think it just comes down to like which ones were the obvious greats or obvious dislikes. But I thank you guys for watching this video, and again, do not bash my opinion on these episodes. Like, if you have a different opinion on these episodes, that is totally fine. I'd love to see what your list is. And I'll see you all in the next one. Bye-bye!